One way around, and I said that. Right. Are we, can everyone hear me? Can you see me? Have we got any comments? Can anybody let me know if you can hear me or see me? We did try to get it started up, evening, right. We did try to get it started up on the hour at 7 o'clock, but unfortunately there was smoke, it wouldn't let us start it, so we're starting now. Is there any way that you can switch it or not?
I don't know, do you want to just take it out and turn it maybe?
Just bear with us.
I think that's it.
No.
That's it.
Who's that behind me? Right. James is doing his homework, so he might be joining in, we'll see. First of all, I have some questions that were asked for me on Instagram, on Facebook and on YouTube. I will ride through those first. The first ones, I'll cover quite a few that were quite generic and I get asked them an awful lot. And to be honest, if people would just spend 2 seconds looking, they would find the answer for themselves. Like they'll comment on a video of me wreck fishing and say, what do you use for wreck fishing? Or say, on the lure fishing on wrecks for pollock, they'll say, oh, what lures do you use for pollock on wrecks? Well, like, just open your eyes, mate. Yeah, other ones, Christian, you were asking what rigs do I use for cod? Have a look on the FishLocker workshop, because all the rig making videos are on the FishLocker workshop. Same again, a guy called Stephen was asking me what braid do I use. There is a video on the FishLocker workshop about the braid. So tackle reviews, things like small boat owner vids, knot tying videos, rig videos, all that type of stuff is on the FishLocker workshop. And if it's any of the kit that I'm using in the videos, generally I will say in the video, I will say, oh yeah, well, if I bring a fish up out of the water, immediately afterwards I will usually show you the rig. So if you pay attention and you listen, you'll find out straight away afterwards. Michael Naylor Hodgkinson, have you ever seen a rod wrenched out of the rod rest or fishing from the beach in the UK seen a reel scream off? He said he hasn't, but he says the only time he's seen that happen was with the seagull. There are a couple of, I would call it urban legends around here about people losing rods on the beach to things like tuna. Like they'll have hooked a whiting and a tuna will pick it up and the rod will just disappear. The only other time that I've seen things like that happen is when people are smooth hound fishing and they don't have the ratchet set properly, because a smooth hound, when they pick up, they really do run. Other than things like that, someone losing a rod over the side, it's user error, in that they haven't got the drag set properly, or they just haven't paid attention. Or the same way being that if you've got a railing that's that high and you set your rod up there, it's easier to tip over than if you set your rod up there, if you know what I mean. So when you're setting up on a pier or on a fence or anything, even on the side of your boat, you'll know if I put my rods on the side of the boat, I never lay them like that because it's easier for it to topple over. It's on more on the boat than over the edge. Are you going to help? Are you helping, are you? Mrs. Where? Okay, well, I'll help you with that in just a minute. Stephen Boo Boom. What charts and weather forecasts do you use on the... Colin. Amazing. Is it Lauren or Lauren? But amazing, thank you very much. That's wonderful. Merry Christmas to you too. What charts and weather forecasts do you use? Does high pressure and low pressure play, especially when you're doing overnighters on the boat? Now, you'll probably hear in the videos a few times that I'll be saying, oh, the weather forecast wasn't what it should be, or this wasn't what was forecast. Unfortunately, yeah, nobody is 100% all of the time. So what I usually do, I'll use the Met Office and I'll use a couple of local ones, but I'll cross-reference 3 or 4 different forecasts. And if they're all saying the same thing, it's more likely that's going to happen. If they're all saying completely different things, you can't rely on any of them. As for things like high pressure and low pressure, they both have different effects on different types of tide. So if you've got like a really big tide and a high pressure, it will be different than a big tide and a low pressure. I could talk on it for ages. I will look at trying to do a video on it at some point, but at the moment it's one of those subjects where there's that many variables in it that it would be difficult to be able to give you a comprehensive explanation without it taking ages. Can you use anything but bread for mullet? It's me, OJ. Well, funny enough, you were one of the people I was referencing about the lures for pollock. Yes, you can. Thank you very much, Fishing Tom. I've had mullet on, depends which type of mullet, because you catch thin-lipped mullets on like maddies and bloodworms, but also mackerel flesh. Perch rock fishing. Okay. In fact, actually, I'm looking at getting him one of those, like an Elmer Fudd one with the ear warmers on it. It could wear anything, it would look great. I'm struggling to find a hat that would cover my ears, to be honest. Alan Barley, can you do a video on unhooking large fish like eels and ling? Yes and no. I can't do one specifically on that because it would be like a 20-second video. But what I have done is, if you look in the earlier wreck fishing videos, one of them where it's just called something like Sea Fishing for Monster Fish, and it's where I catch like a 39-pound ling. I'll show you a couple of really good methods for unhooking big fish with sharp teeth. And also, if you look at any of the earlier wreck fishing videos where I catch conger, I will show you how to T-bar a fish off. Or the same way that there's an overnighter where I go fishing on a reef for eels, and I'll show you probably 30 times in that video how to T-bar an eel off. I will show you in the wreck fishing videos. There are bits of information and tips or things like that that aren't big enough on their own to make a video, so I put them in another video, if that makes sense. People that are asking questions, I'll say straight away, don't keep repeating yourself, because all you do is you just make it more difficult for Hannah. What she's doing here is she's writing down questions. When I've finished these, I will get to those. So even though your question's gone past, we haven't missed it, Hannah will be getting it to me. One question that's quite a big one, it was asked a few times, it's something that I try to avoid getting involved in, to be honest, and it's anything political. And lots of people have been asking me what's my opinion on the fisheries and the Brexit and all of that. I am of the personal opinion, and this is just my opinion, don't take it to the bank. Don't hold it against me, it's just how I feel. But I feel that we would be better off leaving with no deal rather than a bad deal. I mean, surely anybody can agree with that. They say no deal, it's not no deal, it's just WTO rules. I would rather leave just a clean break than a bad deal. That's just the way I feel, because at the moment, you're looking at it, people just wanted change. What they didn't want was something of the same, and leaving with a bad deal would just be more of the same, in my opinion. I just hope that I hope they can come to a good agreement. That's how I feel. It's dragged on long enough. We just want an end to it all, really. Jeremy Caper, C-A-P-P-E-R. Sorry if I'm misspelling it. He asked 3 questions, and he says, I'm sorry if you feel cheeky, but I've just seen one. I hope Hannah's picked that one up. I'll come to that in a minute. He asked 3 questions. He says, I'm sorry for being cheeky. Graham Parker, a Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you very much. He said, I'm going to be cheeky and ask 3 questions. He says, don't feel bad if you don't answer them all. So I'll do my best. He says, in my videos on the boat, you never overhear the radio going. That's not entirely true. What I do often is when I'm fishing, if I'm filming and the radio starts going, I'll turn the volume down real quick while I'm filming. And then as soon as I've stopped doing, so like for instance, if I'm playing a fish or I can see a bite coming and I'm talking to the camera and my radio starts going, you'll see me pick the radio up, turn the volume down, put it back down. I'll finish what I'm doing, land the fish, unhook it, whatever. And then after I've turned the camera off, I'll put the radio back up. Just because you're not watching a video of listening to the radio, you're watching a fishing video. It's the same reason why some people have said about like the amount of litter in the videos as well, and said about me picking up litter. Sorry, I was a mosquito. Picking up litter, and said, oh well, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? I said, well, I don't publicise it because this isn't a litter picking video. this is like a rock pulling video, or this is a fishing video, I'll do it, and people will, you might see it sometimes, like when we're carrying a foraging bucket, there'll be like a load of clams in there and a bit of trash. I pick it up and I put it in the bin like a lot of people do, but I don't try and make a big deal of it, because why would you? You just do it, don't you? AS Swag Mouse, your foraging and fishing videos are the perfect quarantine pastime. Please keep them coming, my friend. We will do our very best. This time of year, it's in order to do a foraging video, we have to have a few things aligned. One of them being Mark Audley. Thank you very much. This is amazing. So, if people who don't know, the super stickers or the super chats that are coming up is people are donating to the channel to help with the running costs, so like the fuel costs, or like things like tackle for the boat, that type of stuff. It's amazing. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. The foraging videos, I have to get a certain amount of things to align. Like there has to be a good tide, a big tide. There has to be good weather, because I have to be able to film in it. So you're generally going to get a good tide once a month. During that once a month, if it's terrible weather, I can't make a video, so I'm going to have to wait until next month. And then even then, sometimes when you go out and you get down there, if you've got weather in a certain direction for a certain amount of time, it builds up a load of swell, so the tide doesn't go out as far as it should do. There's been 1 or 2 videos where I've gone out and I've done something. Philip, thank you very much. Thank you. There's been a few times when I've gone out to do a video and I've said I did intend on going to here, but the weather was too bad and it was dangerous, so I've ended up going somewhere else. It's just the way it goes. The same with fishing. I mean, people have said in a few videos, said, how come we never see you blank? And I've said, well, not only does it not happen very often, just because I don't go fishing unless, in my own experience from looking at the conditions, I don't go fishing where I don't think I'm going to catch fish. I don't just go because I want to go. I'll look at it and I'll think about it, and I'll look at the conditions and the tides and where I want to go and the target species, and I will only go if I think there's a good chance of catching fish. The final 2 questions for him was, how do you know when there are nets lost on a wreck? I'm assuming he's referring back to a couple of the videos that I've done on wrecks where I've said PWP plastering. I'll come to that in just a second. The nets on wrecks. Sometimes you can tell, sometimes I'm referring to it and it is working gear, and you can tell because there's enders. If there's a wreck there in the middle and there's like a float there and a float there, you know it's got something shot alongside of the wreck. There are other times if I'll be anchored up on a wreck and you've got your rods out and you're looking at the rod tip and the line's coming off of it like that. Hello, thank you very much. That was an unusual currency that's just come through from Iceland. Thank you very much. When you've got the rod, Tom Mullet, could someone please just explain to Tom while I'm finishing this, otherwise I'm never going to get to interviews. If you've got the rod lined up and it's tight, all of a sudden when the tide changes, you might see your rod start arching over like that, and what it is, it's a piece of rope or a piece of net moving around in the tide and laid over the top of your line. So it's like a line bite. It won't be a bite, you'll just see it move down. And then also sometimes when you'll be winding a fish up, you'll get a fish on, and you'll start winding it up, and after you're about 15 feet off the bottom, you'll come into a snag. So you know it's something floating, like some line or some rope floating above the wreck. And there are other times as well when you'll feel it. When you come into a snag and you come like fast into wreck, solid onto something hard, you can feel, because there's just no give. And then there's other times where you can pull and you'll feel it coming, and you'll maybe get 10 feet on it, or maybe even break through it. You know that that's netting or rope or some type of like debris on the seabed. Michael, thank you very much. Coming back to one of the super stickers that's just come up there, I think it was PWB plastering. Do I ever do guiding? Now, as for guiding foraging, no. Purely because the ecosystems in our area are that isolated that if I took too many people there, they would just get ruined. It's not worth it to risk on the ecosystem. Also, it would take just one greedy person to return to that area and the place would be wiped out. So it's just not worth it to me. What I have done is I have taken a couple of groups out before where it's been parents have wanted to get their children into rock pooling, or to teach them about marine life. So we've done a couple of like rock pooling sessions where I've taken some kids out and we've gone and found crabs and starfish and seaweeds. I've done that. As for guiding fishing, the same thing with shore marks. There are an awful lot of guys, shore anglers, local ones around here, that would be very upset if I started publicising shore marks. If I started taking loads of people out all the mark. Same again, it just takes one selfish person to ruin a mark, because it would just be covered in litter. Or there's quite a few of them where the access to them is by the good graces of a landowner, and there are some good relationships. It would just take one plonker to go through there and leave a load of beer cans, or to have a fire or something like that, and then they would stop anyone from going there. As for, sorry, I've got a tickly nose. Hello from Westmeath Island, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Jamie. Guiding on the boat. It's one of those situations where I would need to be licensed, and I would need to be coded. I'd have to have the vessel coded. On my boat at the moment, the small one, it's the costs of getting it coded and up and running for charters. The amount that I would have to charge you for a charter would just be astronomical. People wouldn't want to pay it, and I wouldn't want to make it so exclusive that people couldn't do it. Blooming mosquito. Hadleys or Fuscoes. I actually went to school with Nicola Hadley and Raymond Fusco. So I went to school with the two kids of the people from Fuscoes. So it's fish and chip restaurants in Whitby. I have to say I prefer Fuscoes. Don't shoot me. Craig Hill, cracking content, John. Keep up the good work, mate. Hope you and the family are great on Christmas. We are doing our very best. James has been poorly actually the last week. He's picked up a cold. He just got round off another one, and Hannah and I had just planned to go and do some pike fishing. We were like, oh, when we drop the kids off tomorrow, we'll go pike fishing. James must have heard us, because he was like, nah, I'm not having that. And he started a cold up that night, so I've had him off school. So we haven't had a chance to get out yet. Other than that, fingers crossed, we're all doing okay. Is that Phil Horton? Again, what braid do I use? I covered this like right early on in the live. Go and look on the FishLocker Workshop channel. There is a video showing you all the braids that I use for different things, because they've got different properties and at different breaking strains. Thank you very much there, Desert Brew Crew. Hit the like button, everyone. It helps the channel. That is true. Likes and shares. Any type of interaction, comments, likes, shares, it's all good for the channel, because it all builds interaction. Funny enough, actually, dislikes don't hurt it either. It's all counted as interaction. So this is one of the funny things where people think that you get really upset about dislikes. It doesn't matter. A like's as good as a like. A dislike's as good as a like as far as interaction is concerned. Have you ever been to the Isles of Scilly? No, but we do intend on visiting. Yoptastic. Hiya, my dad Kit. Is that Kit Gallagher? Loves your content and is really enjoying getting to fishing. Please can you wish my... Yeah, it is Kit. Sorry, I just got to the rest of that. Kit Gallagher. Happy birthday for tomorrow, and thank you very much. Yeah, I've enjoyed chatting to you too, mate. I do. I enjoy having a bit of a crack with people, especially when they're passionate about the same things that I am. It's wonderful, isn't it? What pound test should I use when making a small cast net? I don't know. Cast net, as in one of the ones like they use in America for casting over small shoals and mullet. I'm not too sure. My best bet would be to research it. Have a look. There's websites that sell them. Just have a look at what poundage they use. What do you think of wreck netting? I don't think it's a very good practice, simply because the chances of losing netting to a wreck is very high. So it ends up with a lot of ghost fishing. I am commenting from an ex-commercial background as well, so I can speak from both standpoints. Can you use lures for bream? I have seen it happen. Bream generally aren't a predator fish like that. You can catch them, but it's not common. David Dewell, thanks for your content. Always calming and informative. Do you? Oh, thank you very much. Is that for me? Thank you very much. Do you come across ghost nets where you fish? Yeah, actually, we've just commented on that a few times about ghost nets on wrecks. I've just missed another one there. Tom Millett, thank you. Jan Nowak, hello from Poland. Hello, John. I will get to these. As for bream, no, generally on lures. I've seen people catching them on isomes. I've seen people catch them on jigs. I've even seen people catch them on small, like rattler plugs. But generally, it's bait. Matt, what is James's favourite fish? Oh, I don't know. We'll ask him when he comes back in. I'll ask him. Is it common to catch tuna in our coast? No, it's not. It's not common. It's becoming an awful lot more common than it was 10 years ago, but it's still not common because they aren't common. Have you fished in West Wales? Yes, once, and it was not a very productive session, should I say. We've been planning Nathmore, no. To answer that, no. It wasn't very productive. We've been planning it for a while, and unfortunately the weather came in and it was just absolutely shocking. I was sleeping in a field in a tent, and it was 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night where I thought I was going to figure out and hold the tent down. What's your background? What's your first fishing experience? There's an awful lot of questions there. My background is commercial fishing, fisheries management, the Navy. There you go. Do you ever have any specific breathing exercises to extend your breath hold? Right. I've actually just seen a fantastic video of this. They're on about breathing techniques for snorkeling and freediving and spearfishing. Daniel Mann has just done a brilliant video on this, and he just explains about how to cut down on the negative things that you do, like about hyperventilating, or about like a proper duck dive and that type of thing, or keeping yourself calm. So if you go and have a look on Daniel Mann's channel, is that Yurik or Yarik?
Yannick, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, whoever was asking about the spearfishing, there is a video that Daniel Mann has just done, and it was a really good one. I've just watched that the other night. Damien, have you ever thought about spending some time light lure fishing from the rocks for bass, wrasse, and have you tried LRF in the rocks? Right, I'll come to that. James, what's your favourite fish?
Lobsters and crabs.
Lobsters and crabs. What about fish though? You caught a cuckoo wrasse, didn't you? And then you caught a bass. What else?
Parrotfish.
Parrotfish, okay. Well, he's not caught one of those yet, but you can, whichever fish he wants is his favourite. Have you ever thought about light lure fishing from the rocks? I have done a little bit of it. As for LRF, no, I've done little bits of it, but to be honest, I don't have enough time. Michael, I was wondering if I could use sea lures for your pike in your local canal. Yes, you can. I've caught pike on sidewinders before. Have you ever been injured by a weaver fish? When you say injured, funny enough, actually, before when I was working for the fisheries, we did some seine netting in Farley Bay, and it was to try and get some, the area accredited as a bass nursery. So we run some seine nets and pulled it all in and did a cross-reference of the amount of fish that was in there. And I did get stung in my hand by a lesser weaver. It's no worse than a bee sting, but that was because I'm not allergic to it. If you're ever allergic to them, they really do mess you up. David Crowhurst, what's your feelings about the super trawlers in the English Channel? I think that they are an absolute abomination to fishing. It isn't fishing, it's just the systematic pillaging of waters, and it's super trawlers, no, absolutely not. I mean, you've got the argument always that a fisherman is just trying to feed his family. That isn't like that. That's just a step above. That's just a processing factory that just takes too much, and it's just indiscriminate as well. There's no doubt in my mind at all why all these dead dolphins and whales keep washing up, and it's because they're there. They're there, pelagic trawling. Which ones? I've just got to a new sheet. Would you get a Wilson flyer, and what do you think of them? I have a friend who has a Wilson flyer, and I've just had to tow it in. There's a couple of people that enjoy them. Wayne Combin's one. He catches an awful lot of big sharks on his. There's a couple of other people that have got Wilson flyers. They slam a lot, and they're very noisy. When you're at anchor, there's an awful lot of air moves underneath the hull, so they're very noisy. Also, they're quite open. They aren't gonna, for what I want, they're not for me. Sammy, have you ever fished in the Netherlands? No, I haven't, I'm afraid. I've travelled through there, but I've never had a chance to stop and fish. Hopefully at some point we will do, because there you get some cracking pike, zander and perch fishing over there. How long have you lived in Cornwall before you lost your accent? Are they trying to be funny? Have I lost my accent?
You've lost quite a lot of it, haven't you?
The only reason why I've had to talk like this is because the locals wouldn't understand me otherwise.
The people you live didn't understand you.
Yeah, everyone was just like, yeah. I don't know, how long have we been here now? 10 years? What?
We moved down when James was born.
How long have I been down here though? 2012.
8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You alright?
Yeah.
You let me read some of these.
No.
Sally, how did you dispatch cuttle and octopus? This was asked quite a lot in the video, and there is no real good way of answering this because it is a debatable subject. Some people just cut them straight in half, as in like that or like that. Octopus, they've got like 3 hearts and 5 brains or something like that. They've got multiple brains and hearts, so there isn't one place where you can spike them to kill them. Yeah, I'm not prepared to to tell you the right way because I don't know what it is. Some people do it different ways. Where are we? Can we get some spearfishing videos? No. That's the simplest answer to that. No, because I don't want to go spearfishing. I'm quite happy with the way that we're doing it in that I'm there purely as a tourist. I'll go and try and find a couple of crabs and lobsters, but I don't want to shoot fish. I'm just not interested in shooting fish. When we fish, most of our fishing is catch and release. Well, I can see them and I can video them without shooting them. So that's why I'm not doing any spearfishing videos. I'm not saying that I'll never do it because I quite enjoy shooting. But, yeah, not for a while anyway. How big is your PB conger? From the shore, I think it's like 38, something like that. From the boat, it's in the 60s. I've had quite a few around the 60, 62, 64, 66. But, yeah, I haven't had a 70 yet. Flanman, do you intend to do any fly fishing? Yes, I do. I have got a fly rod that I was donated by Robbie, one of our subscribers. I have been practicing when I've got chance. As soon as I have the opportunity to. In fact, now that we've been lifted and we're in tier 1, I might try and do a little bit of trout fishing just to keep me ticking over. But I will be doing some fly fishing at some point. About the, I didn't see what your name was, but they're asking about a marine tank. I've been asked that quite a few times. Honestly, no, because it just takes that much upkeep, and we don't have the time. We don't spend enough time in the house sat around looking at it to enjoy it. For people that spend an awful lot of time in their house, yes, we don't. So also, I'm just happy to go and leave them where they are, and I'll go and see them at rock pools if I want to go and see them. It would. I've got nothing against people who do want to have them, or some people that I know have got some fantastic ones, but they're just not for us. We haven't got the time. Dream species of fish to catch. I don't know. I guess my next target is going to be the thresher sharks, just because I've seen them a couple of times now and I really want one. It was before it was a John Dory, and I managed to be really lucky and I got a few of them. And then straight afterwards, have you ever caught golden trout? Yes, I have. I was fly fishing while I was in the Navy, and I was up in where were we? I can't remember the name of the place, but we were in Rosyth in Refit. Dream species to catch. Yeah, it's going to be my target next year. Hopefully, is going to be threshers. I'm going to go down, maybe even try and target stingrays as well, because we don't get stingrays in our area. One second. Thank you very much. Only speak the truth. That is very kind. Matt Seymour, Adam Broadley and I are sat here on board home next week and hoping for some winter fishing. Is there much about? I've laughed a couple of times. Adam is a friend of mine from way back when I lived back up in the northeast, and he was talking about, like, I can't remember exactly how he said it. He said something like he wanted a t-shirt with a crab on saying "Lakes that them get clowers," and I just thought that'd be really funny for about 5 people who understood what it meant. But unfortunately, nobody else. They'll all be like, fishing at the moment. There's a lot of bass around, but at the moment we're in a bass ban, so you're not allowed to keep them. So I don't really think it's a good idea targeting them. Plenty of conger about, loads of conger about actually. Last year we had an awful lot of whips come in that were about this big. This year they're 2-3 pound. There are a few cod being caught and some nice whiting. Also, the inshore fishing for pollock and coalfish is doing quite well. So yeah, mate, there's plenty of winter fishing about. especially if you get yourself out in a kayak. Thomas, do you ever catch freshwater eels? Yes, we do get snotty eels whenever I'm fishing inside the estuaries. There's a bream video where I catch cooch bream. The cooch bream is on the thumbnail. I catch like 5 or 6 snotties in that video. Generally, when you're fishing inside the estuaries, you catch quite a lot of eels. How good did the beer batter cod taste? It was amazing. Oh, I'm not going to lie. It was delicious. The crispiness of the batter, it was fantastic. You back again? What? Okay. Well, your mum's going to go and see what you want for a minute, and I'm going to finish up these, okay? Got to them questions. Where are we at?
I've got loads to write.
All right.
Loads.
You'll run out and go and get Lizzie then.
What do you want, sweetheart?
You want someone to play a game
What
with you?
game do you want to play?
Cluedo.
Cluedo. Well, maybe wait for Cluedo till after
We've-
we finish this.
We've not got the normal Cluedo. We've got the Harry Potter Cluedo.
Sorry?
So we play that.
We'll all play it together.
If you go and get Lizzie, she'll maybe play it with you now.
Go shout Liz.
Do any of you play Cluedo? In fact, actually, I'll ask you that real quickly. What type of games do you play over Christmas? We're going to spend a bit of time with Jim, and we're probably going to go over there for dinner, which is going to be amazing. What type of games should we take with us? What pound line do you use for conger? Depending from the shore or from the boat, my reckoning generally is £60 braid and £200 or £300 mono hook lengths. As for fishing from the shore, I'm usually £45 braid, then a leader of £80 to £100, just because I'm fishing right in the rocks, and again £100 to £150 hook length. Tom Hurst said, have a look at the wind blower app, most accurate weather forecast for the wind. I've tried every single one there are about, mate, and every single time I think I've found a good one, I go out and it's completely the opposite. So none of them can be relied upon. If you want to go and just see him for a second, don't worry about where you've missed. I will catch up on him.
Just don't touch that.
I won't. Sorry, the questions are coming through. That Cubby Fishing Newcastle, thank you very much. They're just coming through that quick that we just cannot get to them all. I'm sorry. Steve Parry, your vids are amazing when you are getting a slot on primetime TV. We've been approached a few times by producers in fact, on one of them it was like Deadliest Catch type producers, but they don't share our vision as much. I mean, we're purely for the sharing and the education part, whereas they either want to make it too dramatic or they want to make me kind of clown for the camera. It's not what we do. Eventually we will hopefully we'll find our fit. We'll find someone that shares the same passion and ethos that we do. That'd be great. But in the meantime, we can do this, can't we? I mean, I'm still sharing my passion. I'm still helping other people get into fishing or get into foraging or getting into marine life. So it doesn't matter that we're not on telly. We are on telly if you're watching this on telly. Mr. Cayman, do you have salmon in our area? Salmon are a rare capture down here. Salmon, generally, you'll need a good river run or they'll just be passing by. We do occasionally catch a couple or sea trout off the beach, but it's not like a proper salmon run like the River Esk or anything. What size engine would you recommend for a 14-foot dory? Best thing I'll recommend to you to do is research which the hull is rated for. The hull of your vessel will be rated for a size of engine. I can't say without knowing because I don't know what type it is, but it's probably going to be around about 20 or 30 horsepower for a 14-footer. I had a 14-foot Orkney and I had a 15 on that and it held it fine. Tim, new subscriber from Michigan. Him and his daughter would like to know where you got all your knowledge from. Thank you for the message, Tim, and all the very best to you and your daughter. The information that we share on here, I don't know if I've explained it in a couple of other videos, but it's simply from a lifetime of doing what you see in the videos. It's a lifetime of being passionate about it. I mean, I've picked it all up from ever being a little kid, being a young lad and knocking about with my brothers and sisters, my cousins, out on the beach when we're young, or in the woods, or anything like that. And it just carried the passion on through my life. I have had jobs where I've been working with like an environmental officer when I was with the fisheries, and then there's been other parts of jobs where I've been part of that, and I've picked it all up. But it's just picking up a bit at a time. Like every single time I go out, when I find a new thing, I'll take a photo of it and I'll come home and I'll research what that is, and I just remember it. And Mike Otley, we will do. Thank you very much, Mike. He's just through there now at the moment playing with his Legos and his pens. He's absolutely loving colouring pens at the moment. He's drawn some fantastic pictures for us. I think we've probably got an artist in the making. So yeah, the knowledge, it's just been built up over time. It's just a lifetime of being passionate about marine life and about the natural world actually. So everything about it. Like even now, I've been doing this for best part of what, 28 years. I'm still learning things pretty much every time I go out. Every now and again when I go out, I'll find something and I'll be like, I know it's part of this family, but I don't know exactly what it is, and I'll go home and research it. Or like when I went up to the lobster hatchery, there's a video on the channel where we took a donation from one of the subscribers, and we went to a market, spoke to Mark down at Falcatch, and we got him to find us a massive lobster. When one of the local fishermen caught like a monster lobster, we used a donation from the channel to purchase it, and we donated it to the hatchery. The things that I learned at the hatchery there was amazing. I loved it. I am learning every day, and I hope that I never stop learning. Can you explain how to tie a stop knot? Mark, a stop knot, I would explain, would be either like a figure of 8 knot or simply a uni knot. Just tie a uni knot. So if that's your main line, tie a loop and then go around it. So you tie a uni knot. Like a 4 or 5 turn uni knot is a stop knot.
Yeah, I'm coming round.
Any advice on shore fishing? Thank you very much. I've got 2.5 pages to go through, and we are just about, that'll do us. Andy, what's your favourite day fishing? I love loads of different types of fishing. Shark fishing is one of my favourites. Shark fishing from my own boat. But then again, just on a good day, lure fishing on a good day is just amazing. The same way, I think probably one of my favourites is going to be fishing at anchor on a reef or a wreck, just because you never know what's going to come up.
Do you want me to write any more?
Yeah, you can do. I'll smash through these pretty quick. If you give it 8 more, and then we will see where we go from there. Joe, any good coastal foraging, free diving in North Wales? The same again. I can't publicise areas just because if the wrong people found out about it. There are teams of, I will say, hired pickers that go to areas and just completely write them off, which is why I would advise, why I will never share any of the locations of the videos, why I would ask that you don't either, is because when the wrong people find out about it, they're ruined forever. If you are in Wales, one of the people that I would possibly consider contacting is Craig Evans. Craig Evans on the Pembrokeshire coast. He's a very well-known coastal forager. He might be able to help you out. As far as the free diving, if you mean spearfishing, there are spearfishing groups on Facebook that you can join, and they're always happy for people to buddy up with them. I'm just reading through there. I misread what the word was, and I thought, hey, David Probert, sorry to repeat my question. I watched your maintenance videos on the sloshes. I'm looking to buy one. Which one would you recommend for boat fishing? For boat fishing, the 30. For shore fishing, the 20. Just simply because the 30 is exactly the same as the 20, but it's got more capacity. Jeff McDuff, thank you very much. I just wanted to say thank you for all the amazing content and the stories you share. I look forward to the videos each week, and please keep them up. Amazing work. Thank you very much from Seattle. Thank you. We will do our very best to keep them up. I mean, we've been posting very regularly lately. We've been doing our very best to keep people entertained and almost with a positive distraction. Berserker, do I have a religion? I would say that I kind of had a bit of a gimmick that I said one time to somebody when there was a boat. I was steaming past them, and they were going, oh, what? And I said, I pray to the gods of the sea, and this is my church. I said, right, we are not devout in any religion in our house. Can you say hi to Harry? He is that 11? And he loves your videos. Hi Harry, how's it going? I'm glad that you're enjoying the videos, and take it easy, mate. I hope you have a good Christmas. Do you have plans to fish in the US? Yes, we do. We had lots of plans to travel actually this year, but unfortunately COVID saw an end to that. Speaking of which, that brings me back onto what I was saying about the videos. We have been uploading an awful lot lately. I've been flogging myself, to be honest. Thank you very much, Paulie. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I've been flogging myself a bit, to be honest, trying to get videos out to you. We've been doing a bare minimum of 2 a week for about 6 months. And that's simply because my feeling was that people are, at the moment, they need a positive distraction. If we can try and share a little bit of normality, or a little bit of calm, or a little bit of a positive distraction, then it was almost like my responsibility to do so. We might not be able to carry that on at the frequency that they are doing over Christmas and over the New Year, just simply because we're going to be very busy ourselves with our own going on, but also the weather's bad a lot. We will be in just a minute. We'll do our best.
What did they?
Dad and Sophie are waving hello. You want to wave hello? Can you use core fishing gear for fishing with mackerel? Yes, you can. You can. A lot of coarse fishing gear is transferable over to freshwater, over to saltwater. Like, I know there are a few guys who fish for bream and who fish for smoothhounds with carp gear. So yes, you can do. It's just match it up really. I use a feeder rod fishing for mullet. No. Robert Edmund, Spargo's kitchen is helping him to eat healthier after his gastric sleeve surgery. That sounds like... I'm glad that you're making good positive steps, and I'm very glad that Spargo's kitchen is helping you out. Jim is a phenomenal cook, isn't he? Hello, Anna Gonzalez. Hello, Anna. How's it going? I'm really glad. Jim is yet to cook something that I don't like. He's wonderful, isn't he? Okay, yes, I have. In my youth, I was. I've done quite a lot. Salmon netting, long lining, crab potting, a little bit of all sorts. Just kind of. I never was. It was always the time when I was at school, and maybe a little bit of time afterwards. I did a little bit. Just love fishing. No, I won't use the drone for. You missed Leanne's. What's that for? Did I? Get yourself something special. Love all your videos. Keep up the great videos. You have many supporters who love you guys. Thank you very much. Whoever, thank you very much, Is it Leanne? Thank you. And also to the guy that prompted me that I'd missed that one. Thank you for that, because I'd missed that. And I can't get back onto the page. There we go. Yeah, I would miss that. Sorry. But thank you very much.
Don't draw on it.
Right, what is more satisfying, a good day on the rods or a good day on the pots? Quite often, although I'll do them in 2 separate videos, I'll do them both at the same time. I'll go out and I'll have a fishing session, and then I'll come back and I'll do the pots. Generally because if I've caught any pouting or whiting that have blown, I'll use them as bait in the pots, or if I've caught any pollock that I'm going to be gutting and filleting, I'll use the carcasses in the pots. So usually they're all in one. I don't know. I always find the pots really exciting, but at the same time, I love me fishing. I think you know that. Do you have any recommendations for tide times and sea conditions? You're going to have to be more specific there, James. I'm sorry. In relation to what?
An app. Oh, sorry, an app for checking.
Okay. No, I don't. Like I've explained already, there some of the surfing apps would be quite good for telling you what the swell is going to be like.
The one that's something like Magic Seaweed.
Magic Seaweed, a lot of people around here use. I use the Met Office because, just because I found them to be more reliable. Also, tidetimes.org is just generally the one I use for time times. DD UK, no, YouTube is not our only job. My wife and I are, I often don't know how to say this. What's that? No, my wife doesn't work for border security. She maybe got a doppelganger somewhere that works for border security. Air escape holes in the pipes. No, I didn't need to, because you already drilled through them on the crab pots. My wife and I, we are brand ambassadors for a health and wellness company, which we've explained in 1 or 2 other lives. If anybody wants to know more about it, just contact us. But for people have asked me a couple of times, they've just said, like, oh, I wish I'd be able to do what you do and going fishing as often as I do, or live the lifestyle that we do where we get to spend as much time as we need to with our kids. Or like when James was poorly the other day, we didn't have to worry about phoning in sick because we were at home, we were doing what we wanted to do.
And we have our own team as well, don't we? And we
Yeah.
coach them. So if anyone wants
If
to
you
be on
want
the
to talk,
FishLocker
if you
team,
want to talk, you're going to need to bring yourself in a little bit because we can't see you on the
I
screen.
didn't want to be stealing your limelight.
Yeah, we actually, I'll move down a little bit and you can come back in. I think people would much rather see your face than mine anyway. Yeah, we have a team of people. You've got one in
Probably got
one in Nevada. We've got a couple in.
Someone in, what's it called, Sturgeon Falls in Canada. I've got a couple of people in different places in America. Obviously lots of people in Cornwall, lots of people all over the UK. It's a completely online business, so we aren't, you know, held to geographical boundaries. But yes, if anyone wants to join the FishLocker team,
Campbell, no, it's not.
what's that?
Herbalife. No.
Ugh, no. Yeah, so we would be happy to help you all.
Yeah, we're not going to go into too much depth of talking about it on here because that's not what you all are here for. If anybody wants to know more about it, contact us. Any tips for bass fishing, Tom? There are lots of bass fishing. Right, 1 second. Will you do videos with TA fishing? We did ask him, we've met him once before, and this was covered in a couple of the other lives. We've asked him, I asked him personally if he'd ever want to work together, and he just turned around and walked off. So we haven't said no, but I don't think he's interested.
Someone asked if I'm your daughter.
No. Tips for bass fishing on lures, bass fishing on baits, bass fishing from the shore. There are all videos on the channel. You just have to look in the bass fishing playlist. There are an awful lot of people, I'll go back to what I mentioned at the start, where people say about, oh yeah, have you got a video for this, or why don't you do this? Have a look at the playlists, because generally 9 times out of 10 people are asking me for videos that are already on there. Like if you want to know anything about pollock fishing, there's a pollock fishing playlist. Wreck fishing playlist. Catch and cook playlist. Boat vids, boat playlist. Have a look at the playlists. Is Falmouth the best fishing in the UK in your opinion? There are some fish species that we don't get here that would make it amazing. Ryan McCaw, I've really enjoyed your channel, particularly over lockdown here in Ireland. Hope you have a great Christmas and best of luck for the channel in the new year. Thank you very much, Ryan. Very, very Merry Christmas to you and your family, and thank you very much for the donation. Tuna guiding, no, because tuna fishing in the UK is illegal still. Hannah, please steal his limelight. The fishing in Cornwall is great. You can't deny it, it's amazing. But that's only because generally, not only do we have good healthy waters down here, but we have conscientious fishermen. If we got more taupe, if we got threshers, if we got things like that, if we got more cod, it would be fantastic. But yeah, it is pretty good. There aren't many places in the UK that are better than this. Why did you join the Navy? How long were you in for? What ships were you on? What rank? Jesus Christ.
No,
No, I'm not going into all of these. I joined the Navy, I don't know, it was 2007, something like that. Robbie, thank you very much. I was in for 6 years, I think. Something like that. I didn't go in many ships because I was an aeronautical engineer. I was on the aircraft carrier and I did spend a little bit of time on that once, but yeah, I generally went where the aircraft were. I started on the Harrier fighter jets and I ended up on the helicopters. You alright there?
Hi, fellow Hannah.
My son and I's favourite channel, as I said before, is the best of YouTube. We're simply sharing what we know and love doing. So generally, we people have a similar passion. You find each other, don't you? So I'm just glad that we found you.
Hey, we were doing them.
Yeah, I was just making sure it wasn't scratchy. Would you say fish numbers have dropped over recent years? It depends which fish numbers you're on about. Dogfish numbers, no. Dogfish have gone absolutely through the roof. So have conger eels. What was your first boat and outboard? The first boats that we had, I would think, probably when I was a kid, were like my granddad's, and that was a Yorkshire Pebble. and it was like a double-ended wooden cobble with like a Seagull 2.5 horsepower outboard on it. I can't read that, sorry James, I'm reading these. Do you ever use perks at the end of your feathers? No, no I don't. It's like a jigger. One of them shiny steel perks that weigh like a kilo. I've got some of them in the garage, I've shown them before. Perks.
I didn't realise that was what they were for.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, perks or jiggers or rippers, that type of thing, they are like a steel shiny weight or a copper weight that have generally got hooks on the bottom that you will fish like a lure.
Oh, I know the thing to you.
You fish them an awful lot in the northeast for cod, but no, not really, because they're a bit. As a spokesperson for the Blue Lobsters, they wish you were very.
Eat more beef. We eat loads of beef.
Yeah, he's always complaining because I keep having his lobsters away from him. Thank you very much, John. Take it easy, mate. Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know how to say it without possibly saying the wrong words. There isn't an awful lot of finesse involved when you're jigging, because generally you're fishing with like a 2-pound jigger and usually like a 10-0 treble hook on the bottom, or like a string of 3 or 4 feathers. No. There are inline ones called, God, I can't ever remember the name of them now. But basically, it's like a lead that's luminous, and you've got hookups. That's what they're called, hookups. And they're alright fishing on wrecks, but the only problem with that is if you ever hook into a decent eel and it gets in the wreck, and it snaps off, you've got a 2-pound lead attached to that fish's face. Whereas if you hook it up and it's just a hook length and a free sliding lead, if you snap off, your lead isn't attached to them, so they can get away. Any tips for conger fishing in Ireland? It's exactly the same as conger fishing in the UK. Just have a watch of the conger fishing videos, and what goes here will be okay over there. Is it worth coming to Cornwall for bass fishing? I don't know, mate. It depends where you live. And if you live in Devon and you're only travelling that far, then yeah, probably. If you're coming from Scotland, it's an awful long way to travel for a fish that you might not catch. Yeah, there's good bass fishing here, but there's good bass fishing all along the south coast of the UK. Good bass fishing in Wales as well. Hannah has a lovely smile. Is a wreck a sunken ship? Generally, yes. How do you find or establish them? Dizzy B, there are apps that you can find, like wreck finder apps, but generally on GPS and on Navionics or on Admiralty charts, there will be a sign for a wreck, so you know roughly what the location is. Thank you very much. That's a very interesting little kamikaze dog. Yeah. What type of music? You're better answering that one. What type of music do we like?
You don't like any.
No, because I'm miserable.
We were driving home this afternoon and there was a Christmas song on the radio and you weren't mad at it. You were like, it's not just because I'm grumpy, but I hate these songs.
Yeah, well, there must be other people that share that with me. Why is it that every Christmas, always, Robbie, I'll come back to you in a second, mate. Just, can you keep an eye on that one? I'll get this out of me. Why is it always at Christmas, just because it's Christmas, they have to keep playing the same terrible songs that make you just want to headbutt yourself, or like just, all it makes me want to do is just turn the radio off. Because I just think that song was crap when I heard it last year, and the year before, and the 15 other years before that. It's like, just because it's Christmas, they have to play them. No, why not just play a decent one? I mean, there are a few of them which are brilliant, and they're lovely, and they really get you in the festive spirit. And there are other ones where I just think...
You quite like country music. Some of it, don't you?
Sometimes, yeah. Not bar humbug.
That gentleman was asking, happy holidays from Nova Scotia.
Robbie, thank you.
Know of any good coastal spots to snatch a few crabs? Saw a few good sized red ones on the rocks a few weeks ago, but they were dead.
That's a shame. Were they discarded from commercial guys? I mean, do you guys get your... I'm not sure what species you get over there in Nova Scotia. I'm assuming that you'll get your stone crabs. Do you get your Dungeness crabs? There's a few species that you'll get over there that we don't get over here. Generally over here, we only get like your European spider crabs, which is the scientific name is something like Maha squinado. And then you get edible crabs, which is Cancer pagurus. And then you get velvet swimming crabs, which is Nicora puber. we only get those, which are generally your edible ones here. Your other ones over there, they'll be different. Like your lobsters, here it's Homerus gammarus, but over there it's Homerus amicarinus.
Are you reciting Harry Potter spells? Paula has asked, could you repeat the name of the Cornish boat that can take wheelchairs?
Paula, it is called Wet Wheels, and the guy who's running it's called Dave Rogers. If you contact us, if you send us a private message either on the Instagram or on the FishLocker Facebook page, I will put you in personal contact with them. We have been trying to organise a trip out with them to try and. Yes, I did used to watch John Wilson. We are trying to. That is Jeffrey. That is a good Christmas song. James was singing that in the car earlier. I have tried to organise a trip where we'll go out to be able to do something with them. But unfortunately, because of COVID and because of everything that's been coming up, we haven't been able to make our calendars align. But yeah, there's a few of them all over the country. There's one in Whitby, there's one in Hampshire, there's one in Southampton, there's I can't remember where else there was one. But there's one in Falmouth as well. It's called Wet Wheels. And if you go on wetwheels.co.uk, you'll be able to find them. Robbie, it all just gets converted. If anybody's wanting to make a regular donation, like Robbie's just mentioned there, if anybody's wanting to make a regular donation to the channel, we have got a Patreon where it gives you early access to the videos. When I'm doing the editing for the videos, quite often I will get people to, I'm not 100% sure of, you're looking at me about the editing of videos, aren't you? Hannah also does some of the editing. Yeah.
Mark Lopez has said...
One second, I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, sometimes I'm not sure how I want a video to go. So I'll upload it early, like 3 days before it ends up being posted, and I get the guys on the Patreon, I'm like, can you just proof watch this and tell me what you think? And they can decide, like, how to end it or to keep something in or to change the audio or to something like that. And also some things don't make it onto YouTube or don't make it onto Facebook because either the videos aren't long enough so I put them on the Patreon. Anybody who wants to find that, it's in the description of the videos, and also it's on the Facebook page. The same way, actually, on the Facebook page and on the videos are the links to the merchandise, which people have been asking for. A nice word for those considerate people that leave their trash on the beach. A nice word for, I don't know what you're meaning.
I think they mean a nice way to tell them that they're inconsiderate.
Yes. I don't know, what would you... Just selfish people. Generally, unfortunately, down here in Cornwall, it's the tourists. The people who live here, they care about it because they live here. It's usually, I mean, the week after lockdown, the place was amazing. It was immaculate. It was clean, the air was clean, the roads were clear, the beaches were pristine. First week after lockdown, when the floodgates opened, there was just nappies, beer cans, bottles, disposable barbecues, there was just trash everywhere. And it was painful to see because you just felt ashamed. You just thought, we don't deserve this down here, humans.
Mark Lopez has said, I would love to do some southwestern cooking for you if you and the family ever make it to Colorado. That's like one of those dream destinations, isn't it?
What we are going to do at some point when we have got the green light to go and travel again is we will be doing road trips in places, and we are looking at going to the States. So what we'll do is, at that time, don't get in touch with us right now, but we will put a message out, and anybody that's in a place where you think we should visit, or you've got something amazing like the world's biggest frying pan or anything like that.
Like a beard of bees.
Yeah, something like that. We'll plan a route where we go and see you. So we will do that.
We want to do like a 4-week or something, don't we? Road trip across America.
Eddie, can you do fishing tutorials for beginners? There are some tutorial videos on the FishLocker Workshop channel. Also, if you go to like the early FishLocker videos, they are very basic. Right, W. Thornton. Hi guys, do you supply fish to seaborne fish? What's the best way to go there?
What's the best day?
Right. Best day to go, right, Mondays are closed. I'm not sure if they're going to change that over the Christmas period because they are very, very busy at the moment. We don't supply fish to them because I aren't licensed. In order to sell your fish, you have to be a licensed fisherman. they only use local licensed boats or Newlyn market, which is generally, it's the local big market. So either local crab boats that land into Miler or Falmouth, local rod and line fishermen, which are all like BSC accredited. No, it's MSC, sorry, Marine Stewardship Council, rod and line fishermen. It's all local boats, but they're all licensed local boats. I would give them a ring, because generally if it's something that you're going to want specifically, you're either going to have to get there early because it might be sold. They might be able to even deliver it to your local area. They are fantastic down there. They on their website, I think they even have delivery days. Like say, they might be delivering to West Cornwall on a Tuesday and then East Cornwall on a Wednesday. And have a look. Do you find ghost nets often? Quite often. But yeah, that's, unfortunately, it's just part of it. Jeremy, any advice for lure fishing for bass in cloudy water? Generally, you'll want a loud lure, so a rattling lure, something that creates a lot of disturbance. As for people saying that you can't catch fish on lures in cloudy water, James, I'm very glad that you're enjoying the hoodie, and thank you very much for the donation. As for people saying that you can't catch fish on lures in cloudy water, I have seen, and there's a real good friend of mine, Tom Rowe, who's in quite a few of the videos. He catches them at night with a black lure. Now, don't tell me they don't see them, because they don't. So cloudy water's got nothing to do with it, because it's the movement. So you can still catch them, but obviously think about it. If you're walking about in fog, you go on sound more than anything else, don't you? So yeah, I would go with like a rattling lure or something that creates a lot of disturbance. Simon, I'm sorry, but I've not fished Bournemouth before. There are going to be some Facebook pages, Facebook groups that are in that area. So SC fishing, I don't anymore, and the simple reason being is just because I'll try and find a political way of saying this as well. Is they it's a bit. We used to have a bit of a joke where we'd say,
we used to play a game, didn't we?
Guess the weight game. In that, when a post used to come up, I'd cover up how much they had said it weighed, and we would guess to say how much it weighed. And usually it was
a little bit of exaggeration, and it was getting a little bit silly, wasn't it?
Yeah, they just
thought, what's the point?
There's no point me submitting the fish. If I've caught a £10 bass and I submit it, and there's someone else turning around and saying that their £5 bass is £12, it just, what's the point? It just stops being worth it anymore. Yes. So we stopped doing that.
I'm just making some punch.
Yes, Chris, and also the last one actually that I read, and it was the reason why I got it was because of Kev McKee had got like an exclusive in there, and it was about one of these like monster wrecking trips. No, it was the Thresher trips that he'd done, and then other than that, I got like 4 pages of adverts, and then I got a page of story, and then I got another 4 pages of adverts, and I just thought, I don't need this. You can get up to date. You can get up to date catch reports on Facebook. Lee, nothing will turn down a live prawn. Nothing. As for other baits like that, bluey and squid, sandale and squid, peeler crab, everything loves a peeler crab. Hello Joe, I haven't heard from you in a while, mate. Local lad. I saw you were actually commenting on one of Joe PK's local videos. It's good to see you. Wondering how you're finding the cod fishing around the Falmouth area at the moment. I did just put a little cod fishing snippet of a video up on the FishLocker Facebook page, and there is one coming up soon, funny enough, actually, now that you mention it. The cod fishing is hit and miss down here in Cornwall. We don't really get a cod run. It's just lucky.
They're too tired by the time they've left Yorkshire.
Yeah. Will you do any freshwater videos? Yes, we will. We have been hoping to try and do some pike fishing. I've just bought a load more pike gear. I've just got a new pike rod and reel that Hannah's already put dibs on.
No, I asked for it.
You do ask for it. No, and I've got a new like light. I think it's like 7 to 27 gram little lure rod. Yeah, we're dying to get pike fishing and perch. I need to up my mark. I don't know what that is. Right, sorry, 1 second. SC fishing, yeah, that's another reason why we don't sit on a video for very long. It does take us well, I'll mention something that was quite funny to us the other day. we upload the videos as quickly as we can.
It's usually about a week, isn't it?
Not only do we have lives and kids have school and we have jobs, but also it takes an awful long time to edit a video. The Irish Angler, yes we do. It's the T-Mill site and it's pinned to the top of the Facebook page. It's also pinned in every description of all of the videos. It's like the FishLocker page at T-Mill. Yeah, it takes a long time to edit a video. Like if I've gone out and I've gone on the boat and I've done a 10-hour day on the boat, that means that not only that's 10 hours fishing, that's a full day, that's 14 hours from door to door, and then I've got all the tidying up afterwards. That means that I'll have probably 5 hours of raw footage. That needs to be fully edited. That takes probably 15 to 20 hours. Can you just check what they're on about there? That aimed at Sea Angler publication.
I have no idea.
They're probably slagging someone off, and they mean Sea Angler, not us. It will take me probably 2 or 3 days, and then if I upload it and for some reason the audio hasn't synced properly, I'll have to proof watch it and then re-upload it and then proof watch it again. Someone carried on at me the other day and was like, how dare you effing this, you absolute fake news W anchor, and said, I'm sick of watching fake news. This wasn't filmed yesterday. I can see the weather outside. I was like, I never said it was filmed yesterday, you plonker. I'd fished on the Monday and I'd uploaded it on the Friday, and he was carrying on at me and giving me a load of...
And he was like, I live in Plymouth, I know what the weather's like. I was like, well, we live in Cornwall.
I was like, what's that got to do with
The
anything,
weather
you
could be
lunatic?
different from town to town. There was another
Graham Parker, can you, as Reese Parker...
Can you ask, I think.
Right. Has ever caught an octopus like his dad?
Has Reese Parker ever caught an octopus like his dad? I don't know if they're asking you.
I'm not sure what you mean there. But Reese, have you ever caught an octopus like your dad? I mean, does that mean that an octopus that looks like his dad? Or has he ever caught one like the one his dad caught? If your dad's got like 8 arms, I'd be wary of being cheeky because you'll get a lash.
And we hope the weather is lovely in Plymouth tomorrow.
Right. If you try and pick 1 or 2 of them out here, I will get what's on the rest of this page. We have already been on for a long time. Graham Parker. I'm sorry, mate, I didn't mean to be rude. I just didn't understand the context in which you were asking. If you won the lottery, where would you fish? I would fish the exact same places that I fish right now, but it would be from a brand new spanking boat.
Will there be any FishLocker shorts towards the summer? Who knows? Tom Fox.
Do you mean shorts as in like shorts?
Like FishLocker shorts, I think.
Yeah, I've been enjoying through the summer. I was quite enjoying going fishing in shorts with no shoes on, just in bare feet.
We'll have to speak to the company that make our clothes, because they're a sustainable brand, so they can only kind of make what they can source to their standards.
Sustainability standards.
That's why they don't do glow in the dark stuff.
There's ever so many. They have committed to a certain amount of sustainability, and also the sourcing of materials. Like sometimes they were doing one and then all of a sudden they had to stop because they couldn't source it the same place.
Can you take us to work with you? We already do.
We'll speak to them and see what they can do. The same way that if anyone's got any feedback on any of the designs that they like doing, because that's where these designs came from really. The first designs.
There isn't a short.
I think he means the new YouTube Shorts videos.
What shorts videos?
I don't know what they are. You mean stories or shorts? I'm sorry, mate. I might be a little bit behind the times, but that's usually because I'm away out fishing when everybody else is doing cool stuff. What's the biggest injury you've ever had from fishing? I've had a hook in me a few times. I fell down that ravine when I was up North Coast. I went out fishing at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had like 2 rods and a tripod on my back, and I had a rucksack. In fact, actually, that's reminded me of a question someone's asked. I had a rucksack with all my camera gear in and my tackle box with all my leads in. I climbed down one side of a ravine and then up the other side, and the wind blew me and I spun backwards and fell backwards and landed down the ravine. I mean, as it was, I threw my rods and my rods landed up on one side, but my leads never had me down and I was just laid out on bottom. I grazed out whip side of my face. I smashed all my hands up. Luckily, I didn't break any of the rods. Chris Taylor, that's a little bit like indecent proposal going on right now. Don't make me have to time you out. Right. We have William Collett. Keep up the good work, team. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much, William. Can you just check to see what this one was to make sure I haven't missed it? Cause
I just think it's been there for a long time.
Yes, right. Yeah, if I won the lottery, I would just have a brand new boat. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Paying myself.
What boat? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'd have to think on that. I try not to. I try not to. I'm sorry, I'm shaking pieces of paper everywhere. I try not to concentrate on things that are outside of my reach, just because I don't want to feel upset when I can't have them. I'm not one of these people that goes flicking through Rightmove looking at houses that are $1.5 million because I know I can't afford them.
I want to do like a day's driving experience. I want to do like rally driving and driving supercars. I want to learn to drift, but John doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to drive a car that's nicer than ours, because then he'll be sad when he gets back in ours.
Yeah. Favourite tea? I don't drink tea, I'm afraid. I just drink hot fruit juice and occasionally the hot chocolate. Do you ever net fish from the boat? No, I don't. Mainly because, like I've said before, we fish, a lot of our fishing is catch and release, and generally net fishing is a little bit indiscriminate and also has a high mortality. Sorry. Lauren G, do you scuba dive when you go to the US by the right? I don't scuba dive a lot. I have scuba dived in the past. I have scuba dived both in the Red Sea and the Barrier Reef. I've been very lucky. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
Right. Flag it back up to me when I finish answering this. Leah, I've seen that. Hot fruit juice. What kind of fruit? You're not calling me a fruit, are you? Usually apple and blackcurrant, but ribena quite a lot. I don't really like scuba diving so much as I don't quite like breathing the fake air, if that makes sense. Where I am at the moment, and get everything done that I need to do, free diving, just snorkeling. I love it. When we go somewhere else though, yeah, I'd love to do that. Right, Pup, I'll have a look at him. He just said there's a YouTuber guy that does an awful lot of woodland foraging for berries. Yeah, we could have a look at that. I'm looking forward to collaborating with a few other people. We had looked to do a collaboration with Joe PK, this year, but unfortunately our calendars didn't align. And then when we did, unfortunately the weather was bad. I ain't going to tell you what we're going to do, but it was going to be great. When next year comes around, we're going to be doing it. Aaron, making a pulley rig, can I use a swivel or do you recommend a pulley bead? The only problem with using just a swivel is if that's your swivel and your line goes through it, it comes up over an angle, whereas a pulley bead, it spreads it out over a load. So rather than it being like on one place, like I can't show you without, rather than it being up over an angle like that, it's spread out over a load. So yeah, pulley beads I recommend. There's 5 or 6 different types of pulley beads, but rather than using a swivel, use a pulley bead. Yes, I did used to watch John Wilson. In fact, actually, one of my good friends that we have been fishing with before, did a session with John Wilson pike fishing. When are you going to go and catch a pike? We have a couple of pike fishing videos already on the channel. Hopefully, as soon as... Don't spam. What millimetre wetsuit do you use for your diving? The wetsuit that I have at the moment... Right, Tom. Good. I'm glad you meant shorts.
Shorts
Yeah,
and
he did mean
clothes.
shorts.
I was well confused.
It's like that car keys thing all over again.
Oh, here, there's a...
What millimetre wetsuit do you use? I use a 5mm wetsuit. Mine's a spearfishing wetsuit though, so it's an open cell suit. It's perfect for the summertime. It's not quite up to winter diving. I did push myself a little bit the other day. If I'm going to be doing any more winter stuff, I'm going to have to get a thicker suit. What were you going to say? Sorry, darling.
Does Mrs. FishLocker enjoy the role she has, especially sharing her cooking secrets?
Do you?
I don't really know what role I have.
We're just a team, aren't we? We share it. Share the load, share the workforce, share the workload, and we, yeah. There are times like the last diving video actually when Hannah could come and join us, or like the camping videos what we've done before. We've been lucky because when she's got lives and things to do, or like Zooms with her team, if we've got good phone signal, we can do it all on the fly. Like we can do it all when we go travelling. So yeah, I think we're pretty well matched as well, because there's a few things that you're really good at and a few things that I'm really good at, and generally the things that I'm good at you're not as good at, and the things that you're good at I aren't. So yeah, well, I think we complement each other quite well.
Oh my god, this person's going home.
Just time them out for a second. Yeah, just as a warning there, don't spam, because if we're trying to work through and get to people's comments, all you're doing is pushing everyone else's comments away, and it's a bit selfish. So just, we will get to you. Carl, yeah, sorted. Right, Joe Slipper, slow jigs. You can fish them on running tide, but generally, right, that one there, Graham.68, keep an eye on that one, because I want to answer that in a second. I'll finish with you in a second. Slow jigs are fishing better over slack water. That's just because you fish them vertically, and you can get away with a smaller jig in slack water. Like I was fishing in 80 and 90 feet the other day, and I was only using a 60 gram. But then when I was fishing in 300 feet, I was using a 160 gram. If there was a full run of tide, you would need a 2 kilo one to get down there in 300 feet. So you can fish them in a heavier run of tide, but you need a heavier lure. They are better when the tides are slacker and at slack water, because usually what I'll do is I'll fish soft plastics while the tide's running, because they're a swimming bait, and then as soon as the tide comes slack, I'll switch over and I'll fish a slow jig. Right, Graham68. Hi, I broke the UK undulate record by catching a 26-pound 10-ounce beauty, but weighed her on board and released her because she was with child. I'm gutted I didn't get the record, but happy to let her go. The reason I think that, I don't know, but I would say that the reason that you didn't get the record was because it was weighed on the boat. I know people who have caught record fish, brought them ashore in a live tank, weighed them, had it certified, and then released them. So the whole myth that you have to kill the fish, it isn't true. Also, the whole myth about how when you're alone, if you catch a fish alone, then you can't claim a record. Well, that's not true either, because my record, I was alone. I just had to sign an affidavit in front of a judge to say that I was alone, to say that I swore. There are ever so many different things. Hi John, I want to say thank you. You're a fantastic ambassador for conservation of fish. I just live up the road from you, and I've been fishing for over 30 years. What do you mean, like just up the road? Or,
like Devon.
Yeah. We're just sharing what we love, mate. And there's a certain amount of it is almost on cue. The certain amount of it that the reason that I feel like I do is because sooner or later, this world what we live in will belong to him. It won't belong to me anymore. And I at least want it to be something worth handing over. I don't want to be ashamed at the situation of things when he's old enough to enjoy them. Yeah. I think people that only worry about today, I feel sorry. I feel sorry that sometimes we've come to that type of stage. People, yeah, just short-sighted, isn't it? The same, I mean, we're conservation. We do take fish for the table. We love eating fish, but you don't need to take them all. Quite often, the way that we fish is that I will fish a session, and if a fish won't go back, like a pollock or a bass, you're making a moustache, you're making a willoughby moustache. If a fish won't go back, as in like it's blown, or for whatever reason, like if it's nicked in the gill by accident and it's bled out and I can't return it, that's the one I'll take for the table. Otherwise, if I have a session, generally I will have my own criteria. If I fish a session, Rich White, thank you very much, have a brilliant Christmas. I'll have my own criteria in my mind. And if I fished all day and I know that the fishing has been really good, I won't keep the first fish, because I know that if I kill it straight away, it's going to be sat. So I'll maybe think, right, well, if I'm going to stop fishing in an hour, I'll keep a fish now. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't stop me taking fish. We are running up to the end. So I'll tell you what, we will answer 2 more questions. If you want to pick 2 out for me, darling, and then we're going to have to wrap it up.
A couple of people have asked if we're going to do a Christmas special.
I don't know.
I don't know, Christmas special.
I don't know how we do that. We're on about doing this cooking one, weren't we? I was talking to your dad about it. We were talking about
right.
Spargo's kitchen cooking one.
Yeah.
We will if we can. We won't be doing a Christmas Day one because Christmas Day is for us. We will, if we can get out fishing, we'll be uploading videos over the Christmas period. We do have 1 or 2 in editing already that we will be uploading, but it all depends on the weather. Reel for an ugly stick GX2, Ryan. Depends what you're doing with it, mate. If you're up-tiding with it, I would recommend some type of up-tiding reel. On my GX2s, my 12 to 20s and my 2030s, I have a Daiwa Slosh 30. Have a look on the FishLocker Workshop channel. There is a video where I review the whole range of GX2s. You just calm down for a second while I'm talking. I will be going in just a minute. I review the whole range of GX2s. That's the 12, 20, 20, 30 and 30, 50. Have a look on there, mate. Right, I think that you have been good for long enough. We're going to go and play a game of... In fact, actually, you have been very good today. And what do you have when you're very good? We have Nerf gun battles. We have 5 or 6 Nerf guns with like a load of the foam darts, and we put our safety glasses. We have PPE and everything. He has a hard hat and he has safety glasses. Gary Farrell, can you? Hi from Corking Island. Love your content. Have a great year boat fishing over there. Thank you very much, mate, and all the very best. Yes.
Cluedo or Nerf battle?
What do you want, Cluedo or Nerf battle? Cluedo,
Okay.
right. Generally, we have, when James has been good all day, he goes and has, we have a Nerf battle in the house.
Okay, we're going to say bye now
Right.
and then we'll get it.
Bye.
All the very best. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
If we didn't get to your comment,
Bye.
James, 1 second. If we didn't get to your comment and you really need it answering, send me a message. Otherwise, all the best. We'll see you later.
Bye. Bye. Bye.